Welcome back to Geek Show Arcade. Oh yeah, and we got so much good stuff to talk about today.
Yay!
The Switch 2? I'm
We'll
so
get
excited.
to it. We'll get to it.
Can we talk
Let's
about it right
introduce
now?
our panelists
I don't want
first
to wait.
here on the Geek Show Arcade, where we talk about video games and video game related things. Kicking off the panelist introduction, we got Owen.
Hey, follow me here. Come play Halo with me. I don't know. That's what you should do.
All right. Right underneath Owen, you could say his bottom, it's Lando.
Hey, it's Lando. Otherwise known as the founder of the In-Between. That's me.
That's
What?
That's technically
This is a
accurate.
true statement.
Are we
It's a
allowing
tech-
this?
That's
the
technically
founder of the
accurate.
In-Between.
The
He
term
is-
in between came
Yep.
about. We still quote
Yep.
past Lando. The in between.
It is
But
a Lando. It is a
was-
Lando
It
joint.
was my
Are we
idea to make it a
ascribing
show.
the term to Lando?
The term is
or-
his. We always had an in between show. We just hadn't
Yeah.
publicly.
But it was my idea. No. It
So,
was my
Putting
idea
it-
to
it
publish
was
it and give it
Lando's
out as extra
marketing,
right?
content.
As much as it hurts me to say it, Lando's right about
Thank you,
that.
Tony. Thank
Yep.
you, Tony.
Yep.
Dang
Thank
it,
you,
I hate
Tony.
when
This
that
is why you're winning
happens.
the vote.
All right, and we got Jaren.
Hey,
Even his camera hates
I'm
him.
Jaren. You can find me on Geek Show Help Desk, Blue Sky at Geronius. You may feel my anguish when we talk about Nintendo coming up. And we got a
point
host.
out-
His name is Tony.
Heyo, that's me. Check me out on Blue Sky at Quad T or on other Geek Show podcasts. Okay, do we have any emails to kick off the episode with?
Nope, absolutely not.
Oh,
Oh,
bummer.
okay, that's all right. We got lots of stuff to talk about, so that is not a problem. And by lots of stuff, I mean kind of a medium amount of stuff. But let's kick it off with what everyone's been talking about, the big news. We got some more NVIDIA stuff to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
How is this the
Freaking.
big
Let's talk about that
news?
diminishing returns. You know those X3D chips.
Come on.
I'm
Did you
just
not
kidding,
see
Lando.
that coming?
I'm just kidding. Let's talk about the Switch.
Let's go.
There was a
Oh.
teaser trailer for the Switch. Not an announcement, a teaser trailer. It's about 2 minutes and 20 some odd seconds long, and you learn
Hey,
about.
this is my story. You have all the stories. This is my story.
I'm getting there. You learn
You
about
listen to me now.
a thimble's worth
good dog,
of
I'll quote that.
information.
Yeah, but
off
there's
of
enough
this teaser
leaks
trailer.
and there's enough.
Now, before Jaren blows a gasket, I will turn the time over to him to talk about it.
just
Thank
say
you.
turn the time over to.
I did.
Yeah.
Turning the time over to Jaren. You have
Thank
the
you,
floor.
Tony. I have the floor.
Let's just circle
so-
back on that a little bit later, okay?
Only if it's synergetic.
Perfect.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
this Switch 2, what we have learned, what we have not learned.
For
we
sure,
haven't-
like not rumor stuff.
We haven't learned much, but we have learned a few things.
We
We
know
learned
it's called the Switch 2.
We
We
know
learned that it's coming out.
the biggest disappointment is that they didn't call it the Super Switch. This is the first console
Yep.
where Nintendo has put a 2 on it.
Oh yeah.
I would have loved Super Switch. It would
Super
have been,
Switch would have been,
What a missed.
as the
Missed
youngins
opportunity.
say,
Yep.
it would have been fire.
Yes.
Oh,
Agreed.
no
I agree.
cap.
I didn't even think about it
Yes.
until just now, and I agree.
Yes.
And as much as it pains me to agree with Jaren,
Especially
thank you.
especially because it is backwards compatible with all the Switch games. Super
which
Switch.
I
would have
just
not
want to take a
all the
moment.
Switch
There was a
games.
moment,
The
a number of
majority.
shows back, where Tony's like, "That'll never happen. Nintendo never makes anything backwards compatible. I would be so surprised if they did it. I would eat a shoe." And now, Tony, it's time to pay the piper.
Yeah, you got to eat a shoe now.
Oh
And
man.
it has
I'm
to be
gonna
made out of shoe materials.
No,
not-
no, I never specified
didn't
that.
say-
I am
not
going to
jelly.
form a
It could
shoe
be
out
it.
of
Or anything like
Skittles,
that.
and I will eat it.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
A
I'm in.
shoe-shaped roast.
Anyway, Tony mentioned backwards compatibility. It's mostly backwards compatible. However, and this is all conjecture at this point, there are a few items that the Switch 2 lacks that could affect some games on the Switch 1. So, first one being like Nintendo Labo stuff. It's a different size. The Switch
Yeah.
2's bigger than the Switch 1, so it likely wouldn't work with any Nintendo Labo things. The second one, this one's going to pain Owen to the core. I'm sorry. I don't want to see you sad, but I have to say it. It got rid of the IR blaster.
Gosh. The last
What do you mean?
holdout.
Both of the Joy-Cons have IR blasters.
on the
No.
Switch 1. One Joy-Con had an IR blaster. On the Switch
On the
2, there are no
Both
IR
of them do on the
blasters.
Switch too.
in-
I think
in the
they
render.
both have them.
It's a travesty and a sham.
No,
and a
I
mockery.
think you're wrong, Jaron. I'm gonna Google this right now.
Look,
Okay,
Travis
pretty
Shamrock.
sure you're
please,
wrong.
please. It's been discussed heavily that it doesn't have IR blasters. Whatever. Do what you want, Lando. So
think you're
there
wrong.
are some games that use the IR blaster. It wouldn't be compatible with the Switch 2, but it seems like everything else is a go. This is
Well,
just kind
not
of rumor
quite.
mill still.
Not quite, because there's a few games out there that you have to slot the controllers into, like Switch Ring or whatever. Ring Fit.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
it
trying to
would
say.
fit into like the Nintendo Labo category of
So
incompatibility.
yeah, but yeah, I would venture to say 99.8% of the games are going to be playable on the
Yeah,
Switch.
I
Including
agree.
the digital download games.
Yep.
Which is great news.
Digital
for me.
download cartridge, all of that action.
Wow.
Rather than having it slot into both sides of the Switch of the screen, it now kind of clicks into it, so it's no
Which
longer
is
a.
such a better
It's
design.
more like a. Yeah,
Those metal rails sucked so bad on freaking Switch One.
They
Yep.
were very hard. As I've gotten older and my eyes have,
Also gotten older.
Matured.
also gotten matured. Thank you, on.
Yeah. Yes.
It's hard for me to see where to put the freaking rails in the Switch. So
Well, not only that, but here's the experience on the Switch One that frustrated me the most was, if you took the Joy Cons off the Switch, and then they had those little things that slid onto the Joy Cons to make them into individual controllers.
Mhm.
If you mix those up and put the wrong one on the wrong side,
Oh, yeah.
They're
which
freaking
was
hard to get off.
Super easy
Yeah.
to do.
yeah, they went on hard.
Yeah.
I've had to
Oh.
physically. My kids.
They would go on
You
so
know.
easy and come off so hard if you did it wrong.
My
I
kids would jam
yeah.
them on.
we had that during Christmas break, and I thought it was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, someone's stronger than me, which is almost anyone.
Olivia?
Yeah, yeah.
Teddy, it was your son, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Anyway, so going on to the differences here, they attach magnetically. Supposedly, there's a magnetic latch that will take them
I
off.
don't know.
A lot of people are expressing doubt over that, but I have to believe Nintendo would not release a console that could possibly sell to 150 million people that would have that big of a flaw in it.
You mean like joystick drift?
Yeah. Or-
This is a different kind of flaw.
Or-
yeah,
or
this is
Bluetooth
this
that
is like
comes later,
literally can't
or-
play
no,
the
not for
freaking
games.
console.
This is
Yeah.
a base
Yeah.
design
No.
flaw.
Not only is it magnetic, though, you can see there's a little
Plug
insert
adapter.
that goes, a plug-in, that goes in that also connects. So probably between those two things, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah. There is a mysterious squarish button underneath the home button on the right Joy-Con.
Some
We
people
don't
are
know what
calling
that does yet.
Some people are calling that the C button, but we don't know
Yep.
for sure.
Because we'll see.
And and
No, but that was good.
Hmm.
And the thing that I think is most interesting, and this is hinted at in the video, they have two Joy-Cons that latch onto something else, and it shows them moving along with a tail in the background, which is like the wrist strap.
Wrist strap, yeah.
It makes it look like mice scurrying about, and it looks like on the Joy-Cons there is an optical sensor, so supposedly this could have some mouse functionality. I'm very curious about this though, because most people do not play a Switch on a surface where you could
Exactly.
actually use a mouse.
Yep.
So here's
Um,
my hot take on all this, right? This is the first real console where a major redesign of the controller of a Nintendo console hasn't happened. If you look back at every major console release, one of the things Nintendo's known for doing is like coming up with
A new form
vastly
factor.
different controllers each iteration of each console,
Yeah.
right?
And they're very good at
And coming up with new
gimmicks.
things. And not only that, but like
Gimmicks.
Nintendo's a pioneer in functionality, right? The LR buttons, Nintendo. The D-pad, Nintendo. Vibration, Nintendo. Like these are all things
the vibration
Nintendo.
existed way before that. Never mind.
It was new to me,
Different
and I
kind of
think it's
vibration.
Nintendo. And I'm gonna give Nintendo credit for that. My point is, they're pioneers in the controller space, and they haven't this iteration. That kind
Yeah,
of frustrates me a little bit.
Well, this is where the optical sensor comes in.
I think
I'm
it's
really,
a gimmick, though.
I'm really curious what they're going to do with it. If it's just strict mouse functionality, I think that's DOA. No one's going to use it because who plays a Switch on a table?
Yep. Agreed. I
So
don't know what they're going to do with this.
I think it has to be something else. And as we've said, Nintendo's the king of gimmicks. It'll be interesting to
too.
see what they do with it. Other design changes, like I said earlier, it is bigger. It has a USB-C port on top and bottom, which is
That's exciting to me.
That's great.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Because charging at the bottom was a pain, but you need the one on the bottom for
For
docking.
the docking,
so
yeah.
having one on top
Accessory
is,
use, like
yeah.
it makes so
That's
much
the
sense.
thing, yeah. So you'll be able to charge and have a headset going at the same time that uses a dongle for like 2.4 gigahertz connection on the headset.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
Yeah, all kinds of things.
good move.
it's good. It's good
As
stuff.
far as really
The better
anything,
kickstand.
oh yeah, you're right. Better kickstand. It's
Well, better than the original Switch. It's not better than the Switch OLED. The Switch OLED kickstand's fantastic.
the
Can you
the
adjust
entire
the Switch OLEDs like you can
Yeah.
Switch 2?
Oh yeah.
Okay. But
it
still.
goes all the way down like a Microsoft Surface.
It might not go all the way down, but you can choose various,
Okay.
various angles. That's the word.
But yeah, the kickstand is much superior compared to the original Switch.
For sure.
But other than that, it's all rumor at this point because we don't know. There's been rumored clock speeds.
The whole thing's bigger and just a little bit sexier. I would
There's-
Do we
say.
know anything
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
guts inside? Like what
no,
nuts
no,
run?
it's all
It's
rumor.
all rumor.
So they've. Oh, are you going to talk about the experience days?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the rest is rumor. We can talk about it if you want, but we
Meh.
We're
don't
not a big
typically
rumor
talk
show
about
around here. You
rumors.
can go look at those yourself.
Yep.
But they're going to reveal more about the Switch 2 on April 2nd. Kind of a weird
far
video
away.
in my opinion because it's a worldwide video, but they use US notation for where to place the month and date.
Yeah.
Day of the month.
There was
so like
confusion. They had to clear that up.
people
Yep.
were wondering, is it February 4th?
Well, see, and that's
or is
what
it
I
April
was
2nd?
I was expecting a non-US format, so
Yeah.
I saw it first, and I thought, "Oh, new news in 3
Next
weeks."
month?
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, they should have just spelled out the month.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you too can experience the Switch 2 if you go to these very specific locations throughout the world.
Yeah.
New York, April 4th through 6th. Los Angeles, April 11th through 13th.
We're gonna
Dallas,
go, right?
April 25th through 27th.
Oh, is it going to happen in Japan? Maybe we can have Lang check it out while he's there.
Yeah, it's gonna be in
Not till
Tokyo.
April. He'll be
April
gone by
26th through
then.
27th.
Back, I should say.
Taipei, Hong Kong, Seoul, Melbourne, Amsterdam, Madrid, Berlin, Milan, London, Paris. So yeah, there
Jimmy.
you go.
Amsterdam feels out of place in that list.
Amsterdam's huge, man.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a big city.
Yeah, nothing in Salt Lake. Thanks for nothing, Nintendo.
Yeah.
The moment Salt Lake is included in something like this is the moment we'll have made it as a state.
We're doing our
See,
part.
I thought we were there because the Rickmobile came through Salt Lake the first time it toured the
that's
country.
right.
I thought we were there. We were being recognized
how
by
many
Cartoon
stops?
Network.
Because
More than 3.
there's 3 stops in the U.S. If Salt Lake is one of those stops, holy
Yeah.
cow!
Well, you see what they did here was they did far East Coast, far West Coast, and pretty close to the middle of the U.S. in Dallas. So
Yeah. Do
geographically
they
speaking,
think that people will actually travel? What am I saying? People will travel for this.
There's going to be lines.
oh, some of
You'll-
them, yeah, there will
you'll have-
definitely be people not native to these cities lining up.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish we got some information on the screen type and the SoC.
Yeah,
and all
rumors
that
are
stuff.
LCD, and if that's the case, I'm gonna be so turned off on it.
Well, they got to save
I-
room for the Switch 2 OLED, you know.
Well,
I know, and that's gonna piss me off.
Here's
I
what
know
I
they're
hope
gonna
they
do
do.
it. I know they're gonna do it.
I hope they have 2 versions at launch, and then they just keep those 2 versions, with minor revisions for the rest of
Yeah, 'cause
the
I can
life
tell
of
you
the.
right now, my kids don't give 2 craps if it's an LCD
I don't think-
screen versus
Right.
an OLED screen.
I don't
Kid-
think that
kids
I don't
don't
think
as
Nintendo
much, but-
has Nintendo ever done that? Released a two consoles
No.
compete with each other? That's a
No, they
Microsoft
haven't,
thing,
so.
right? Like they've had the
Well,
different SKUs.
Okay, I take that back. They have, but not at the same time, because you can still buy the original Switch now, even though the Switch.
Yeah,
OLED's out.
true.
So
Well, and there's the Switch Lite too, right? That's
and the
third
Switch
SKU.
Lite. Yep, that was a
Did
few
they-
years after the first Switch.
Did they have the same supply chain issues and the same supply issue when the Switch first came out, or the Switch OLED? Like, did you fight that, or did they plan
OLED
better
for sure.
that?
OLED for
Okay.
sure.
Oh,
Regular
the-
Switch,
the-
not as much.
No, Tony. The regular Switch was really hard to find for 4 or 5 months.
Oh,
I
well,
remember when I got my Switch, it
Yeah.
was weeks after
Was
it
it-
came out.
because I was able
And
to
I was
like
waiting in line at Best Buy.
I was able
Yeah,
to
it was
snag a
hard to
pre-order
find.
without much issue.
Oh yeah, because we bought it
That-
immediately when it came out, Tony.
That was before the days of the bots, though. So.
as
Right.
we do.
Yeah. So
But-
the other thing too here is the teaser trailer did show Mario Kart.
Yep.
What looks to be Mario Kart 9
New
for a
Mario
number of
Kart 8?
reasons.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Mario Kart 9.
And it's
Mhm.
not.
Looks,
It looks like a Switch game, not a Switch 2 game. There's
Oh.
no anti-aliasing.
It is absolutely going to be cross-gen because
Oh,
yeah.
they have
Well, no,
150 million install base for the previous
Yeah.
Switch. They're not going to turn their
Right,
backs
Yeah,
on
but
that.
exactly.
Mario Kart, like these games, sell into perpetuity.
It's
Like,
true.
Nintendo, and they never lower their prices. If they release this as a Switch 2 exclusive, personally, I think that'd be better for them because it'd be a console seller.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's looking like a couple things. Like one of the things that everyone's talking about is like, ooh, 24 players all at the same time, which is huge. I did see one
Oh,
game
man.
developer that said
think about
that-
all the red shells you'd be getting with 24 people instead of 12.
That would just be come on, Jaron. 24 people in Mario Kart would just be a great time. It would
They'd
be
have
a
to-
battle royale.
Plus, you got everybody, all
time.
24 other people got to have a Switch. That's
They'd
those
have to
consoles.
adjust it. You'd have to have a way to dodge the red shells if they're going to do 24 people.
I just think the mayhem sounds like fun.
Being first place, how many blue shells you get?
Oh, man.
each
They got to come
lap
up
would be
with
insane.
something new, like a gold shell that
Yeah.
hits second place. You know,
They would need to balance some things. I think.
Silver
Yeah.
shell for second.
Silver,
But
Yeah.
I'm either way, I'm sure it's gonna be a
bronze,
great
silver,
time.
gold, and bronze.
Probably. Yeah, it'll probably be great. I mean, they
So
haven't.
I did see one game developer saying the graphics did look like a Switch 2, like it wasn't a significant improvement over Switch 1. But take that
Whatever
for what
that
you will.
means. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, it's looking like the graphics power would be equivalent to like a 2050 in a laptop,
But
Which-
let's
which is a
be
huge jump, but it's
Yeah, it's a big
compared
jump.
to everything else. It's
And let's
low-powered.
be fair. Let's give Nintendo credit. Nintendo does some really crazy things with
Yeah,
very low
absolutely
power.
right.
Like, they
Oh, for
are
sure.
amazing at squeezing every bit of juice out of their hardware that they can.
And if they're able to throw a lot of the, assuming, which it's almost a guarantee at this point, that it's going to be an NVIDIA SoC, if they're able to throw in some of the NVIDIA secret sauce with some DLSS stuff and things like that.
I would be
You're
so
gonna-
I watched the Linus Tech Tips, and he was basically saying if they don't, he'll eat a shoe, kind of an idea, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Skittles.
all about guaranteed
Shoot.
AI
Lando,
upscaling is gonna be
tell
part of
me,
this.
since you don't care about graphics, are you going to buy a Switch 2?
Of course I am. Of course I'm.
But
gonna buy a
it's
Switch
just
2.
better graphics. It's the same device, but just better
It's
graphics.
sexier device. It's bigger and it's newer.
Buy a
Just like graphics cards, baby.
buy a Nintendo OLED.
Baby.
It's newer.
You can buy mine.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a
There's
good
two.
point. I could
There's
just buy
two coming up on the
yours.
market real soon.
That's a great point, guys.
don't have
I
a
actually like
Nintendo
that
OLED.
point.
I'm the only one that has the
$100,
OLED.
Tony?
No, sir.
Well, it's it's
No.
obsolete. It's last gen tech.
Lando
That's
makes
okay.
a point, Tony.
We'll talk about this later, my
You
friend.
can yeah, but $100 I don't think is the number. I don't know what it is,
We're
but
just
I'm
so
pretty
far
sure it's not
apart.
that.
I want to do business with you, but we're just so far apart right now.
apart.
I think $100 is a great number. It's outdated tech, right? That's like, that's 4090. Once the 5090 comes out, is not going to be anywhere close
sorry,
to what it is.
That's last year's Lamborghini. I'm only
You
going
know-
to give you $20 for that.
I hate
Right?
to
Not
break
only
it
that,
to
but
you,
it's
Lando,
used. You
but
drove it off the lot. It's lost
the-
all kinds of value.
the day the Nintendo Switch launched, it was outdated tech. So
Yeah. As soon as you drive it off the lot.
Not the point, Tony. It's
Yeah,
used,
no, that's
and
the
it's
point.
it's
That's the
it's
point.
the last gen. Drove it
we'll
off the lot.
see. Maybe I'll keep it for nostalgia's sake.
And
All
then we
right,
have,
Keep it
like,
just
I
to
get a
spite
friend
Lando.
bonus too, right? A friend discount.
No.
yeah, I've already calculated that in. It's still not $100.
Yeah.
Besides, the last 3 times you've said you're going to buy stuff from me, you bail out.
That's true. This one I probably actually want. 'Cause my Switch, my current Switch right now with my kids is on
Oh,
its
it's
last leg. Like
Last legs, huh?
it's doing some crazy behaviors.
I'd
All
sell you
right.
my Switch for 100. Easy.
Well, there you go.
Your current, but not OLED. It's just a
It's
regular.
not
Switch.
OLED, but it's a regular Switch, perfect condition.
No, actually, you know what? I might take you up on that. Stay
Think
tuned.
about that. All right. Speaking of NVIDIA, we learned a little more about not the graphics cards coming out, but just what goes on behind the scenes at NVIDIA sometimes. And in this case, it's related to the DLSS aspect of their software stack. They have a big supercomputer over at NVIDIA that is continuously upgraded with the latest GPUs for AI crunching, et cetera, and it has been running 365 days a year, 24/7 for the last 6 years straight.
Man,
Doing frame gen for their DLSS stuff?
doing
training their
AI
model.
model
Oh.
training for DLSS.
And
Huh.
it shows DLSS is easily the best one.
and it's continually improved year over year from
man.
when it was launched. So, I mean, this new
It's got to be
DLSS
such
4.
a huge data set.
Oh yeah, absolutely
Oh,
massive, because you have to run each game that wants to use DLSS
Yeah.
through the algorithm, through run its data set through.
But
So
now with their new DV whatever 200 thing, it can just make a phantom one and run it against itself, right? You don't have to use real
I don't know.
that new stack they're using, that new
Oh,
supercomputer thing.
that's for simulating real world stuff. I don't know.
No,
if
but
that
also
applies to
but also
DLSS.
it's AI training AI, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
maybe.
AI consuming its own
It wouldn't surprise me if they
iteration.
work some of that in there. Yeah.
Hmm.
And they've. I mean, the reason that this has, or I should say, the fruits of this is part of the fruits of this is the new DLSS 4 that we have, that is a complete rewrite of how the images are generated and perceived from the traditional raster graphics and ray tracing. So
And this is where they create 3 frames to 1 now. Like it generates 3.
that's DLSS 4 multi-frame generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be available only on the 5000 series cards. But
Hmm.
yeah, I just thought that was interesting. It's like, okay, DLSS is more than just a program they throw onto your graphics card
It's got
that
some
works with
sort
these.
of
It's got 6 years of AI training behind it continuously.
And it makes sense why FSR2 in comparison has just been so lackluster. Because
right.
that is an AI train. That is a human
It's inferred.
algorithmic model.
Yep. So
Puny
anyway,
humans.
I just thought that was pretty neat. Let's talk about AMD now. And AMD, one of their engineers in an article here on PCGamesN.com is quoted in interview with them. They were asking him, how come the 3D Vcache CPUs don't have the 3D Vcache on both CCDs
sides. Yeah.
when you're looking at a 16 core chip? Why is it only 8? And can you do 16? Is there a problem why it hasn't been done yet? And here's what he had to say. This is a quote. Everybody's like, why don't you make a limited edition? And to everybody, I say the same thing. If I handed you something and you saw an average 2% increase, maybe, and I charged you an extra $100 for it, $150, I don't think that would be a positive review. And so
It's only at 2% if they were to put it on both
Yep.
sides of the.
That's what he's basically saying. The guy's name is where'd it go?
I wonder why.
Well, because games don't use more than 8 cores typically. And
Wolagrowski. Wolagrowski is his last name. But yeah, exactly right, Jaron.
Probably got fired.
And productivity tasks don't really make use of the 3D Vcache like games do.
Yep. And that's what he basically said too. He said there's a few games that you would see a higher benefit because it likes a lot of CPU cores, so it would spread it across more than just the 8 cores on one CCD. And there are actually several games that it would hinder performance on because you would have added latency trying to go from core to core when it wasn't optimized. So, CCD to CCD is what I meant, not core to core. But yeah, so it just wouldn't make much of a difference. And that's why they've never bothered to do it, because it would also raise the price $100-$200 for nothing.
And
For
once
no good
again, if
returns.
you want just a gaming chip, don't go more than 8 cores, like I did the last 2 generations.
Yeah, same. That was before I realized that the 12 core is 6 cores per CCD, so you're actually only using 6 cores at a time with these games anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we made the right choice with the 9800X3D. That has proven to be quite good.
Oh, I love that chip so much.
It's quite good.
I want
All
to
right,
take it on
Owen,
a date.
what do we got here about grinding your gears?
Oh, one of our fallen saint, Mr. Elon Musk. We talked about he's the best. Remember how he came up as like the best player in Diablo?
Best Diablo 4 player ever.
Yes.
Yeah, and Path of Exile 2, which is a fairly new game.
Yeah, best ever.
He got some beef. He got in a beef with some YouTubers. I think his name, I
Love
can't
me some
remember
good
the.
beef.
Anyway, I can't remember the guy's name. Asmongold, if you know who that is. I don't follow gaming YouTubers, but
That guy's a
uh,
weirdo, and he's
yeah.
disgusting.
So
Go watch his
anyway,
videos if you don't believe me.
yeah. So basically, people were like, "How are you already this level, and you're still running 3 companies? Like that is impossible." Like some of these people are like, just to get close to this would be 40 hours straight.
Even if you didn't work,
Even if you didn't
or I
work,
mean, didn't sleep. Even if you
this
didn't
is
sleep, you wouldn't
yeah.
be able to do this
This
with
is
your other
mom's
jobs.
basement stuff, you know,
Mhm.
like I mean, just caffeine and anyway. So these private messages on X between him and somebody, sorry, they came out and I'm gonna.
You okay, buddy? You feeling sad?
Getting choked
Are
up.
you do you need CPR? I can give you
I don't.
CPR.
I need water. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm losing my voice in real time.
What the heck?
What's
Are
happening?
you dying? Oh,
Call
don't die.
911.
Ah,
What's your
come
address,
back,
Owen?
boys.
It's gone.
Voice.
Owen.
I'm good. I'm back. I'm not back. Move on. Come back to me. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
Come back to me. This is ridiculous.
Buddy.
Oh, wait. Wait. Here it comes. It just had a spasm. I don't know.
Oh, there you're okay.
What?
Oh,
He's back.
I'm
I'm
back.
better than ever.
Better than stronger.
Not
than
better.
before.
Not. Yeah, I can be rebuilt. Sorry, guys. Anyway, these messages came out, and they're like, he basically proved, or he basically admitted that he has a 4-person team doing this with him, and
He's
it really kind of peeved off.
sociopathic. Holy cow.
But he's on Twitter going, "I'm the greatest," but it's not him. Like he just like people are like he's leaving stuff on the floor. Like he's not typically playing like somebody that's this good because he doesn't, right? Like he gets into a game and he's like, "What am I doing? Where do I go?" And so he's not. And then he basically says, you know, in order to beat the Asians, you have to play like they do.
Did he say that?
Yeah,
Beat
that
the
was-
Asians?
That's crazy.
What?
He says, I want to find the exact quote because he says something about the Asians. You can actually see it from the link. From the link, it's very.
Okay, first of all, let's stop calling them the Asians.
I'm just quoting him. I'm quoting him. It's what you have to do if the Asians are going to do it. And so
Owen,
the
Owen,
Asian community.
stop it.
There we go. The Asian people, the Asian community.
The Asian, community. Oh, it's impossible to beat the players. Oh, yeah, he actually didn't say the Asians. That was me. Okay, I get it. It's
Don't
impossible.
admit
I have to because he could hear me, and then I could just get disappeared at this point.
What's going on?
It's
Well,
impossible
no.
to beat the players in Asia if you don't do as they
Okay,
do.
So he said it correctly.
Yeah, he said it. I mean, he said it better than I did,
Yeah.
but he meant what he meant. You all heard
Oh.
what he meant.
Okay.
And we're going with that because he's a douchebag. Anyway,
He is indeed. This
it's
is
impossible to beat the players in Asia if you don't do as they do. And anyway, the article, the tweets, the private messages are actually pretty interesting. I don't understand a lot of it, but basically the person asking questions is like, would you apologize to him or to the community of whatever that other game is? And he's like, who would I be apologizing to? Who are your elected officials? Like
Well,
your
what-
elected representatives. He basically says, I'm not sorry. Like,
Here's the
I
thing.
did what I did.
And I'm no defender, but why apologize? Who cares?
Apparently, a big part. I think a
Apologize to
big
the
part of the.
community? Who cares?
Well,
Like,
he brings in and says he's the best ever, and there's people that this is their entire livelihood on
Who cares
YouTube, and
on what side, Tony?
yeah.
on the gamer side, like
The
what
community
good does
cares
an
a lot.
What good does an
Oh,
apology
for
do
sure,
this?
right? Yeah,
He didn't do anything illegal in this aspect.
right.
He didn't,
No, I think the
you know,
apology
You
is
can
more like
apologize for being a douche and not be doing something illegal.
he,
I do it all the time.
yeah. You know what?
but
Fair point.
Like, look, what I'm saying is, look at the guy. He's not going to apologize.
No,
there's
like
no
it's not in the
way.
DNA, right? Like, and that's like it's built in there. He's not going to. He's not because he's not sorry, right? Like the only reason to apologize would be at a public admittance of, basically you
Of
guys were right.
Wrong. Yeah, exactly.
He's
He's not gonna
because
do that.
no, no.
And that's what I was getting at. Like, he has no motivation.
He has such a
He
huge
doesn't
ego. Like he
care,
would never.
you
Yeah,
know?
He just does, like, again, I can't remember who it says. I think it was James or maybe it was you, Tony, but Elon Musk just likes to pull the levers of the world. No
Yep.
matter what they are. The bigger the better, but he'll pull any lever that affects a lot of people just to see
Just to see
what'll
what happens.
happen. Just to see what'll happen.
And I'm convinced that 90% of the time, it's not from some plan that he has that he's working
No.
toward. It's
No.
just to see what happens.
Convenient. Can you imagine the ego
Just
of
to
somebody that
react
gets
to whatever.
that gets into the government like he has and gets a department named after him for Doge? Like, like, after how much he
Wild.
joked and abused that coin, then supported that coin, and went all in on it and pushed and then to get into the government and call it Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, and just laugh himself to sleep. Anyway, I exit again. I don't expect any type of apology to the community, but
Yeah,
he's
no.
not the best player. Like, a lot of people are out there like, he can do no wrong. He's not that great of a player. Like, just be clear. That's all the whole point of this.
Pay someone to level his character up.
Yeah, pay a lot of 4 people apparently.
Yeah.
Hours and hours. Oh, that'd be
Yep.
such a sweet gig. Would you guys do it? Come on. Maybe the memes like,
Was it
for
gonna
what
pay
would you
good?
do? What the thing was like, what would you like for $1 billion? Would you slap me in the face thing? Like,
yes, right now.
I would, like, for $1
No
billion,
hesitation.
I would hit you with my car. You know?
Can fix you up with $1 billion.
Yeah. Like, I gotta wonder what that job is. Like, how do you be like, how much you gonna pay me? And
Could you
he's got
imagine,
some
like,
pretty famous people. Apparently,
you're
Brandon Spikes is somebody who's very good at this game.
Think
and
of it this
whatever.
way: if he pays well to be his gaming butler,
Yeah.
you're his gaming butler.
Yeah.
You're in charge of this. Is hypothetically speaking? Let's just create this
Oh, I love this conversation.
job.
already.
Okay,
Yeah.
so gaming butler. What you do is
Gaming
you
butler.
create or you build his computer. You his
You have a
gaming
team.
rig.
You manage the
maintain it.
team.
You run all of the things that he wants to be, quote, good at, end
Yeah.
quote. You run the stuff, whether it's a team or yourself, to level up these characters and then just hand them over to him.
And just, yeah, on the
Could
day
you
of
imagine a job like that?
on the day of publicity, he holds the controller while he just like it's very much like the Let Them Eat Cake, or just like the old timey kings that were just like, yes, I'm a warrior, and you're like,
Mhm, exactly,
no, my
Yes,
guy.
that's exactly what it is.
You know, like old timey royalty that just paid underlings to make them look good. But I want that job. I can't say that I don't want that job a little bit.
If it paid well,
Yeah. I mean, how
that would
close do
be
you have to be to the center of chaos before you're
That's the
shredded
question,
and,
you know?
and spit out into nothing? But
I feel
Like-
like unless you're very good at it, you always got your head on the chopping block in that.
yeah,
in that
you
role.
better it better be a side gig.
Uh-huh.
You know, like you better have you better have a plan B.
You better be streaming on the side, making money
Yeah.
that way. You know?
Yeah, use it to build your image.
Yeah.
I was once the guy that got fired by Elon
That's got to be
For-
worth something.
for killing his hardcore mode Diablo 4 character.
All right. In other news, you guys remember Havoc Physics
Oh yeah,
in
it
video
was
games?
at the beginning credits of almost every game in the 2000s.
And it was always one of those things that came up and you're like, oh, sweet. We're going to have some serious ragdoll physics or, whatever. And it was always something I look forward to. Apparently, they never went away. They're
Really?
still around and making physics middleware for gaming.
I hope physics comes back in games, because
I do too.
the PlayStation 4 generation completely got rid of it.
Yep. And it's so much fun when you don't know what's going to happen, or you can infer what will happen based on interacting with an object. They just released a trailer today on their YouTube channel showing their latest physics stuff that they've created for gaming. And you need to check out this video. It's about 2 minutes long. It looks really cool. And they've just been plugging away at this product, making it better and better. So
I'm reading through the list of games they've worked
Yeah,
on,
I was
and
gonna say,
I'm pretty surprised.
if you don't know, Havoc Physics was used in Half-Life 2, Halo 3, Fallout New Vegas, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Halo 4,
Halo 4, yeah.
Battlefield 4. I mean, and then tons and tons of other
Helldivers,
games.
Sonic's X Shadow, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom used it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like I said, they've never went away. They just haven't, been very public about what they're doing. So I'm just excited to see them kind of pushing that a little bit more. Like, hey, look,
Yeah.
we have this middleware or whatever it's called, and we're ready to license it out and make games
it's
cool
like-
again.
Yeah, like, listen, we still exist. And a lot of the games that you like and play have used us.
Mm-hmm.
A little brand recognition now because they've been kind of holding back for a while.
Yep.
I
That's one of
couldn't
the
even-
things.
I hadn't even remembered them. I remember seeing their logo come up
Yeah.
at the beginning of games, whatever, but
Well, and that's one of the things that's really neat. I've been playing a little bit of Astro
Bot.
Bot. Yeah, I keep wanting to think boy, and I'm like, no, that's a manga. Astrobot, and the physics in that game are very, very good. Dozens up to 100 or more pieces of things moving on the screen at once that you can interact with. And I agree, Jaron. That's what we need more of in gaming these days. Cool stuff like that. Well, speaking of Sony, they have canceled several projects recently that were kind of half announced. They announced a while back that they were working on a couple more live service games, one of which was set in the God of War universe, and that has reportedly been canceled.
Dang.
Which I'm kind of like, that would have been maybe kind of cool, but God of War is the best single player kind of a game already, so I'm just like, what would they be able to do with it? And that was being done by Blue Point, and then
God of War live service would be weird.
that's what I mean. Like, I don't know what they
Yeah.
would do with it. I'm curious to see what they had and why it was deemed,
I think it would have rubbed the community the wrong way
I think you're right.
with a beloved franchise of that single player like God of War. Like, there's no other franchise that Sony owns that is prestigious as God of War, in my opinion.
Yep. And apparently Bend, which their last game they made was Days Gone, criminally underrated in my opinion. Really cool game. They were working on a live service game as well. And they were going to use a lot of their open world systems that they had in Days Gone. That has also been canceled. And then last but not least, there was that Horizon Zero Dawn unannounced MMO that was heavily rumored. It wasn't officially announced, but it was one of those kind of known secrets in the industry that it was being worked on. That also got canceled this week. So
Yeah, none of that bothers me.
no, I think that's a setting that they could have done a pretty easy MMO style game in, but the fact that it's not happening, that's fine.
I'd much rather have Sony cancel these games before they come out and become bombs and lay off the studios now than,
And that was the silver lining around these cancellations, is they said that that should not affect any of the staffing in the studios. They'll move on to other projects. So
Nice.
So that's good. But yeah, if you were looking forward to those, sorry, Charlie. And then what is this $100 games?
Are you? So that's a good. That's the question. Is GTA 6 is coming out, and analysts are predicting or speculating that the next generation of games is going to be $100 for a game, and
quadruple A games,
like right?
Skull and Bones.
Mhm.
Yeah, super quad.
So the headline here says some analysts hope GTA 6 will normalize $100 games. And there's a Baldur's Gate 3 dev that chimes in here and says, prices really haven't risen with inflation.
So that's very true.
I think
you
that's
paid $60 or $70 for a game in the 80s for Nintendo and Sega.
And I can't tell if that's what kept this industry alive though, because it kept it attainable in hard times.
Well,
I think
the
there's
budgets
part of
were
that,
extremely small back then compared to games today.
True, right? Like they were you feel like they were making a lot more of their, like, getting a much higher ROI on that then because they were smaller.
Definitely not.
Per project on a percentage basis, maybe, but they were much smaller projects.
Yep, and the number of games sold way less than the big blockbusters
For sure,
these
right?
Yeah.
days.
Especially now with online delivery and like all the things, like there's some give and take there, right? Like now you don't have to do as much, you're not doing nearly as much distribution, right?
Right.
Which was a huge part. Like if you know anything about the Disney franchise, they started their own distribution system because it was insane to try and push these out and do all that.
I
And
don't think
so-
it's necessarily a bad idea for very expensive to make games such as Grand Theft Auto 6.
Right, but who knows that, right?
That's
like,
the
how do you
thing is-
know how much it was? Like, how do you go,
Well-
oh, this is obviously the quality here is $100 game, which is like my kid wants to play this game, and instead of being
Well, I mean,
$60 or $70, it's $100, and I don't see the big
It's-
difference here.
It's the publisher that decides, and if the publisher thinks they have a hit on their hands and it's going to get awesome reviews and everyone has to have it, like Grand Theft Auto
yeah,
6,
right?
they could probably get away with it.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. Like,
If
how do you
it- if
feel
it
about
keeps-
that as a consumer though? How do
Well-
you feel about $100 games?
if there were more choices from larger studios for price range, I'd be okay with it. Because right now, all we have from larger studios is AAA games that either make them or break them.
Yeah.
If larger studios like experimented more on smaller games and maybe they charge less, and there was a wider variety, then yeah,
So-
I think I'd be okay with it. But
So
were you gonna say
you're
something?
you're comparing.
Who determines it's
Well,
a
hang
$100
on,
game
hang on,
though? You know,
hang on. You're comparing them, or saying if it was more like a movie studio kind of layout where you have your big tent pole expensive movies once or twice a year, and then a lot of smaller projects throughout the year as well that
Yeah.
cost less but probably also don't sell as many tickets but put butts in seats. However, they could still be percentage wise quite profitable.
right?
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe that could work. I just
Because
for me, I look at it and go, okay, who they decide, like you said, the studio decides they've got $100 game based on what arbitrary information, just how much time they spent on it. Because
no, it's
Cyberpunk
more,
77 took how many years? Or
it's more like how much market anticipation there is for it, like how much the market would bear for that price.
What can we
Do you-
squeeze out of
yeah,
them?
do you
like
I guess that's the
Ubisoft
question.
in today's climate? No, they could not release $100
Yeah,
game.
No.
Right.
But I think Rockstar could. I think CD Projekt Red probably could.
Hmm.
It just depends on the clout the publisher has and the goodwill they've.
I would
they've
say
drummed up with
garnered.
the community.
the Bethesda of the 20 teens could, not the Bethesda of today, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing to consider too is it's a game, and what do games do pretty soon after they come out? Go down in price.
Yep.
You know,
If you don't like
Immediately,
it,
right?
just wait.
wait a
That's-
few months.
that's what I do.
And not only are you going to get it for cheaper during a sale, you're also going to get a game that's been patched 4 times and
Yeah.
probably runs better.
And
Yeah.
and this with this new model though, you'll be getting a game at what used to be full price. Because that you can expect the deal to go down to $60 or $70, right?
That's true.
So
Yeah, I mean
that would be
that's true as
you're
well.
no longer getting that deal. And I guess that's the question. What to Jaren's point, do you think the market could bear those $100 games and they'll still get them, or does that become games of the elite or the financially well off?
It's
Does
going to
the
be.
layperson have that access?
I think it's just going to be games dependent.
Yeah.
Just like Jaren was saying, your GTA 6 could probably do it
I
without
think
much
it's
issue.
why. I honestly think this is why Game Pass will be a lot more of an option in the future because it's like a game rental system, right? Like
Yeah, But
these
however, I guarantee that if a company thinks they can charge $100 for a game, they're not going to put it on Game Pass.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Not
they
at
will
launch
not.
for sure.
not at launch for
No.
sure.
And then
for
even
sure.
then, maybe 2 years down the road.
Is Elden Ring on Game Pass or is it projected to go anywhere like
No,
that?
no.
Yeah, see, like they
No.
don't like why would they, right? Like
Exactly. Why
it's-
would they?
I think
they-
From could probably do it for a large release like Elden Ring. Do I
Probably.
like the idea? No, but I think it's possible with certain publishers.
Yeah. That's the kind of the point of the article I saw. And I was like, I just don't know if I can. I already have a hard time waiting for the Steam sale because I have to get most of my games on sale, and so to have the sale be the full price for me, I'm like, ugh, I don't know. This market in the market of Owen cannot bear $100 game. So
No.
I
I
like
think-
my hardware expensive and my games cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah, buddy.
exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm 100% like that. If any games that come out at $100, there's very few that I would buy for $100.
Halo's gonna do it for me. Like I would probably, if that one didn't come out on Game Pass day one, I'd probably be like the campaign.
Yeah.
I'd probably
Halo
still pay
doesn't
for
have
it.
enough goodwill to do that.
No,
Not
nowadays.
anymore,
No, they do
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
They
Witcher
absolutely
4,
lost that.
I would
You do
throw
100 for that?
$100 for Witcher
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
Witcher 4, stuff,
Yeah.
your sacred cows, the ones that you
Yeah.
can't get no matter what. So
Yeah, but that just feels so individual.
yeah, it is 100%.
And they could probably do like a tiered level, $100 for the first month, bring it down to 80 for the second month, bring it down to 60 for the third month, and keep it
Well,
at
so-
60 after that.
They already kind of have that in place, not so much with timing, but you watch most big AAA games that come out, you have your base game for 60 or $70, and then you get the deluxe
bundle.
version for
Oh, yeah.
$85, and then you get the
Yeah.
ultimate version for $100. And what does it come with each time you bump up? A couple more DLC pieces, like
Cosmetics.
like
Or-
not even
or-
more game or anything.
And sometimes the ability to play it a little bit early.
That's true.
Yeah.
They throw that in sometimes, but see, and there you get your $85 games, your $100
Yeah.
games.
I can
and
see that. I can see that as an ad there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just.
And Ubisoft is infamous for that too. They
do that.
totally do
Yeah.
that.
every release
Yep.
they do
Yeah.
that.
But they want to normalize $100 games with nothing as a perk, and
Yeah.
that. So you're paying
We'll see.
$120 for that extra. So I guess we'll see how that
If
goes.
that's coming, I don't think it's coming
Yeah.
anytime soon. I don't think so. The other thing to consider too, before we wrap this subject up, is GTA 6 doesn't need to sell for $100.
No, they got the market.
It will sell at $70, and it will sell millions
Oh.
and millions of copies.
Isn't it like one of the
within
most played games
the first
ever
week? Yeah, like
across platforms?
That's
too?
that's how they've always made their money is on the volume.
yep, exactly, on the volume. And
Yep.
GTA is going to sell volumes. There's
Yeah.
there's no other way to put it. All right, last but not least, speaking of game devs saying odd things, or people in the game dev industry. So there is a PS5 exclusive game coming out. It's a dinosaur horror game, kind of like Dino Crisis. Remember that game back in the day? This one is called Code Violet. And someone asked them recently, or not someone, I should say, many people have been asking them, what about a PC version? Where's the PC version of the game? Now, they've already come out and said they're not doing an Xbox version because they don't have the manpower to optimize an Xbox version alongside the PS5 version, and the PS5 has a larger install base, so that's why they're going with that way. PC has a massive install base, much larger than any of the consoles. Where's the PC version? They have said this. This is a quote. For those asking us about a PC version of Code Violet, the reason we are not bringing it to PC is we do not want anyone modding vulgar versions of the main character as well as other characters in the game.
Is it
No
modeled
taking
on
their clothes
someone's
off.
daughter or something?
That's what I can't
Gotta be.
figure out.
Somebody
Says-
totally is like,
We
I don't
hold
care.
our voice actresses and actors with high regard, as well as our
Oh.
artistic vision for the game and
Please,
story.
somebody
and
dig into
reject
this.
Any form of destroying that with sexual mods, making a joke out of our art, and possibly tarnishing the reputation of our voice actresses and actors is not worth the extra money we can make.
You know what's going to happen.
But you're not
This is
tarnishing
the
the voice
Streisand
actors.
effect. People are going to come up with
Now you
pictures
have- yeah.
of these people, and it's going
Exactly.
to go viral.
And they keep saying they're protecting the image of the voice actors who you never see.
yeah, you don't
Voice
know.
actors, by definition, are not
Yeah.
the actors.
Very
So whoever they
rarely.
used for the visual models is somebody important. And I think that the internet, the two of you that listen to the show, need to
The two
go
of
figure
you.
out.
I just thought that was hilarious. I'm like, why don't you just say the same thing as you did with the Xbox version? Oh, we don't have the manpower to do it.
Yeah.
No, instead they're taking this like, well, it's because we
Moral
respect
stance.
the artistic integrity of our characters, and we don't want you making them with bikinis.
We don't want to see them tea towels flapping around.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's the end of today's show. Thanks for making it this far. Before we head out, though, big shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/helpdeskarcade. And Orlando here has what you get when you donate.
Yeah, this is the best, right? So real quick, for $1, super secret Discord, both shows early ad free together with my favorite show stuck sandwiched between them, known as the in-between. We play some fun games there. We do some spicy things. We have some fun contests. It's a great show. As the founder of the in-between, it's personally my favorite show.
I don't know if I can
He's
handle
gonna-
this.
He's gonna say that every time now.
For sure, I am. I'm gonna own
I
that one.
think you
big
get to
time.
say that as the namer of the in-between show,
Nope,
because it
Tony,
did exist
nope.
before you.
I'm
think
the
It was an
founder.
in-between show. Remember, Tony? We did that before. We recorded
We
it.
never sent it out. It was always
Oh,
just
really?
us talking. Yep. It was not
Oh.
till Lando said,
Dang
"Hey,
it,
we
Lando?
should send this out."
Okay. I
So-
rescind
He's the
You get all
founder.
that for a
founder.
dollar. If you wanna go above and beyond, there's absolutely no like requirement. There's no expectations. Nothing. No money. Like if you want to listen to the show for free and get nothing, like you get all kinds of stuff. Do that. Please do. Like please do. If you want to go above and beyond, give us $6. You get to type your name in Patreon, and here's a hint: you can type whatever you want in that box. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
you could-
No one
We got
cares.
some good ones this week.
And here's what happens: Jaron reads those live on the air and amuses all of us. Like it's great. We love when you do that. Please go change your name to be whatever you want it to be, and make Jaron say it. It's great.
As a postscript to that last story, really quick, I'm watching the trailer, and at 2 minutes 9 seconds, it says footage captured on PC.
So they already had it running, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Womp womp.
hilarious. Anyway, all right, big shout out and thank you to our favorites: David Broshinsky, Interrupting Cow, Aaron Faulkner, Connor Keesaw, and Steam Sale. But my backlog. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks to Bubba Beauregard, Jason Eatman.
Beauregard.
Even my laser pecker is Onyx on Halo. I like
Mm.
you high. Be the 8-year-old. Problem with mis chones is munchy munchy meatballs. Kyle Lando's the Patreon simp. What's his face? Tony the Excel and Power Apps nerd. Travis Johnson says buy arcade help desk stickers at Pyman Graphics on Etsy. There, it's shorter. Are you happier now, Lando?
I'm so happy.
Jeremy, no name, no color, Keslo, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz is the best FN username there is. You're all wrong, suck a butt, nerds. The in-between rating plus 45. I want my $2. DP, Owen's favorite, Wesley, Turd Ferguson, Stuart Lloyd. Everyone has an excuse, but only the guilty use it. And finally, so-and-so. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Patreon backers. You are the best. Okay, we're done for this week. We'll see you next week. But until then, Owen, you got to take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.